An evil, dirty place, isolated community. You've got doctors and cops, very, very wealthy people. That's a bad, dangerous area.
Bodies have been
found another body, and then another.
But a serial killer doesn't stop killing.
there.
That's how serial killers and other killers act. There were had jewelry missing, items that they always wore. She called me from her phone. I'll phone her, caller ID. She picks up. He then says, "I raped." He then says, "I raped her before I murdered her."
Over a decade ago, 10 women were found dead in Long Island along the shoreline. They were escort workers coming to this predominant neighborhood to make money. There's a story of these women.
It's just such an evil, dirty place, isolated, rich community. You've got doctors and cops. Very, very never going to think that that's a bad, dangerous area.
10 bodies have
Found
been
another
found.
body, and then
But
another.
a serial killer doesn't stop
Out
killing.
there. May 1st, 2000, who worked as an escort in the online left Manhattan for a routine job on Long Island. Her name was Shannon Gilbert.
The client contacted her. She had her driver, Michael Pack, drive her.
For 2 hours for $450.
They split the profits of the bookings she got on. Joseph Brewer, who lived in a gated community called Oak
Shannon
Beach.
got out and they went in up to. I was shocked, why is he coming out, right? Because I was like, and then he was like, get her out. He was trying to push her out, but instead of just pushing her out, he kind of grabbed. So she freaked out. She said, "You guys are trying to kill me."
And that's when the 911 started screaming, "Help me, help me."
5 o'clock in the morning, and somebody was screaming, "Help me, help me." I asked her what the problem was, and she just kept staring at me, yelling, "Help me, help me."
When he told Shannon the police were on their way,
Bolted out
she
and ran down the road that way. He took off after her. That was the last I saw her.
Between Joseph Brewer's house and the front gate, my daughter
Alex
disappeared.
called me and told me that he hadn't seen Shannon, heard anything, or if she was over here with us, and I told him no.
Day, phone was still off, and that's when I got worried. And that's when I made phone calls.
She would look in the mirror and she would cry. She would say she always tried to act like
She
a
wanted
diva.
to write. She wanted to be a
with her
singer.
college studies, Shannon did her online escort work. Shannon met her boyfriend at the agency. He was one of the drivers.
It was like a good connection we had. I was never a pimp. I started off as friends, and it led to that, to boyfriend and girlfriend. She did this on her own. She wanted to do this. I never forced her to do nothing.
With a canine dog, a cadaver dog. And the officer came on the remain, a female.
The police found 4 bodies in all, just off the Ocean Parkway, 500 feet apart, wrapped in burlap sacks.
May be that of
Shannon
escorts,
had one key feature that made her easy to identify. She had a metal plate in her chin.
I hit her, and I fractured her jaw. I felt so bad. After that, I never hit her again, never hit her.
Cause of their death was asphyxiation. They were all sex workers. They were all dumped in the same.
Could have a serial killer.
information on the serial killer who's believed.
They were lying 3 miles from a gated community, Oak Beach, but Shannon was not one of the bodies.
It'll be a happy outcome. Mother's
Lorraine Ela's daughter disappeared from a Long Island hotel.
was seen leaving the hotel in the morning by herself. She vanished. She didn't take crap from nobody. She went to jail on little petty things. Her daughter, she had actually started straightening her life. Her daughter was her life. Her first Christmas, and my daughter spent almost $1,000 on it for Christmas. Wouldn't 5, 6, 700 bucks a whack. She wanted her daughter to have the best of everything.
How Craigslist works?
We would go and get a Visa card. We would put $25
online, you go to post the ad.
right here.
The guy calls you, and it's about $175 for a half-hour cash
In the old
on.
days, prostitutes were in the open and they were waving down victimized violently by a job. Typically, there would be witnesses who could tell what type of automobile she got into. The internet, it's all gone indoors.
She met Akeem at a club in Portland. Told her that he knows how she can make some quick fast money.
Akeem, the man who may or may not have been her pimp, was with her. He was the one who reported her missing.
Akeem contacted my mom. He went to the hotel, knocked on the door. Megan didn't answer. So they opened up the door, and Megan. She had also told me that Akeem was in the bathroom. They had this sign that if she made some kind of noise, he'd come out and protect her. But I found out later on, he always left the room.
Megan left her bag and possessions in the room and walked out into the parking lot.
If she had only stayed in the hotel room, she would be here today.
Bring to justice this animal. Obviously taken the lives of a number of
He'd hidden his 4 victims in a place which suggested he knew the area. Chosen to make a forensic search almost emerged a 3rd woman had been missing since September. Was Amber Costello.
We had one rule in our family: nobody fights alone. Had a little job at the Waffle House, busting her tail for nothing. She just wanted more. I had a friend in college who owned a escort. She wanted me to answer phones for her. Here I am hearing these girls talk about making $700, $900 an hour.
Started working as a high-end escort for a licensed agency that took a screened its clients, had strict safety measures.
I had a little travel suitcase, little Tinkerbell to work with you. And I'm like, join the train, that it would never turn out the way it did.
Cutting out an escort agency and posting her own
And Kim said to me, well, if we were doing escort. I said, listen, but I'm not answering any phones. I said, I'm not getting caught up like I'm a pimp.
She's like, well, I'm going to post on Craigslist. And we posted.
They had their credit card, they went on the computer, and then
and lo and behold, it rang off the
can't even believe that it's this
I'm telling you, we probably made 3,000.
I mean, the phone would ring 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, all the way around. It didn't matter. It just non-stop.
In an escort agency, were screened and logged. If you didn't come back from a job, the police would be called in minutes. Amber's only protection was her instinct.
You got guys on there that don't want to pay $75. And then you've got girls that'll see guys for $75. I mean, I think that's ridiculous.
She and her roommate were using heroin.
At that point, she was taking calls that I would never that high going. She had to make that money. I thought, damn.
Amber went online and posted an her usual alias.
She gave him directions on how to get to the house. A few minutes after 10, he telling her that he's down
Like
there.
Megan, Amber left without a bag or her phone. The killer does not appear out of the ordinary or alarming. He's a man people feel comfortable with. Bartholomew vanished 1 year earlier in 2000.
She wanted to go to New York to earn enough money, open a salon, buy herself a home.
Melissa settled in the Bronx, where rent was cheap, and got a job.
The last time she was around Christmas.
Melissa disappeared from the Bronx. She left her apartment on Underhill Avenue, $900 in her bank account. Told her boyfriend she might head out to Long Island.
Melissa was working with this guy, dates for her, and Craigslist. She told us he was her boyfriend, was her pimp. Actually put her in the hospital 3 times. Trauma, he collapsed her lungs. She hid it all from us.
The family asked a local lawyer in Buffalo
So I
for
got on the phone to compel to take a missing persons report. They told me that they don't take missing persons report prostitutes unless they've been missing for 10 days.
Her little sister got a phone call.
And all of a sudden my phone rings. And I look at it and it says Melissa, so I was thank God.
There's a guy on the other end, and she's like, where's my sister? Who is
very calm. He was in control. There's nothing I could do about it.
Amanda said that he sounded like he was middle-aged.
That police were tracing the signal. It was coming from Manhattan, crowded places in the country.
He would talk about the things that he's done. He was describing more of violence than of
sex.
Got
a little more detailed, like he was playing a game with her.
The calls went on for a month. There were 7 in all.
Every time I see her name, my heart would stop. Sense of possible relief. It's her this time, but it wasn't.
She was devastated. Every call, she was like more panicky.
It's all about power, about control. This fits killer mentality.
He actually said what he did. He actually told Amanda that he killed her sister. He should have seen her face. Gonna watch her body. I'll come tell you personally.
I feel that he held her for at least a month. I still don't sleep at night. I never, ever, ever turn off my phone.
The killer who made those calls is still out there. The killer who made those calls is still out there. Who he is, why he's killing, remains a mystery.
Rex A. Hewerman has pled not guilty to the Gilgo Beach murders. He has been charged with the murders of 3 young women out of the 11 who went missing and were found in close proximity of each other on the shores of Long Island in Gilgo Beach. They were able to extract DNA from 3 of the ladies and link it to his DNA after he discarded pizza outside of his office building where he was under surveillance. He worked as an architect. Rex A. Hewerman was a serial killer and had been evasive for decades. His home was raided. Forensics was there, and they also wanted to see if they could find any trophies that he kept decades later. Serial killers and predators love to collect items from their victims. These are known as trophies. They also found 250 guns stored in his basement. All of the women were in close proximity of each other, where he buried them on Gilgo Beach along the shores of Long Island. Investigators first got on to him when he would call one of the victim's sister of how he tortured and killed her sister and watched her rot, even asking his sister if she would like for him to come tell her personally. 11 bodies in all have been found on Long Island and Gilgo Beach. He has been charged with the murder of these 3 escorts. His wife of 59 years has filed for divorce. They have 2 kids together. Her hair was found on one of the victims' body. They was able to identify it through DNA. Her phone signal shows she was out of town when the murders occurred.
He had a family, he had a wife, he had 2 kids. But what he did at night, he was a different human being and a dangerous individual.
I was arrested at age 59, married, 2 kids, husband, dad, long time a serial killer and a stalker. Used electronic devices. Lived in a neighborhood undetected. DNA and electronic, his downfall, much like mine. He wants to give these notes to the psychological and criminal profiler. Many of jurisdictions has got involved, like Las Vegas, where him and his wife own timeshare, and escort workers have been found deceased. In South Carolina, they're trying to see if he's linked to the murder of 20-year-old Aaliyah Bell, who was discovered 20 miles from his property there. They're also checking to see if there's a link between him and 4 escorts found murdered in Atlantic City. They were found in a watery ditch. Signals from phone towers indicate he was in the location at the time of the murder.
One of the things that we did is we followed him.
In the year, sex workers found tied up, their bodies wrapped in. Huerman has been charged with the murders. Huerman has been charged with the murders of Melissa. In February 2022, he was even interviewed for a YouTube show.
Rex Huerman, I'm an architect, I'm an architectural consultant, I'm a troubleshooter, born and raised on Long Island.
I'll be putting the links in the description below. Just tap the word more in the YouTube button. Subscribe